It's dessert time, guys. I'm Chef Mark. I'm gonna show you how to make a tiramisu, only a little miniature style. Let's grab our quintessential ingredient, the mascarpone cheese. Soft, creamy cheese, light. We're gonna mix a little whipped cream, a little coffee. It's gonna be delish. Now I need to grab the lady fingers. Let's see, in a bakery, lady fingers. No, not those. All right, these, right. Sponge cake, lady fingers are gonna soak up the coffee, be a nice base for the tiramisu. Let's go put this thing together. All right, tiramisu. Faster I get this done, the faster I get to eat dessert. So let's start to put together our little syrup to dip our lady fingers in. So I've got half a cup of sugar and 3/4 of a cup of water. That's gonna be a basis of our syrup. I'm gonna stir this occasionally while I bring it up to a boil, just to make sure all the sugar dissolves in there. And then after I'm done with that, after I pull it off the heat, I'm gonna mix in a tablespoon of espresso, instant espresso, and a couple tablespoons of chocolate liqueur. I'm gonna let that come to room temp, and then we'll dip our lady fingers. In the meantime, I've got a baking sheet lined with plastic wrap. All my containers are ready to be filled. I got my lady fingers, my food processor, everything's ready to go. So when this is cool, all I gotta do is assemble it. All right, now that my syrup is cooled, I'm gonna take each one of these lady fingers and dip it inside my syrup. And the way to do that is quickly dip it in so that they don't over soak, but completely immerse these inside the syrup. All right, the next step to this whole process is you're gonna take your lady fingers and cut them in half. Not those lady fingers, we're gonna cut these guys in half. And then we're gonna line our little molds here. So I'll show you one first and I'll do the rest. Line our little molds. You got 4 pieces. You can put a little up the sides, but you want a single layer on the bottom. Okay, and line them just like that. Do the rest of them. All right, so now that I have all my containers lined with my lady fingers, I've whipped up 2 cups of whipped cream, and you want to whip it to about stiff peaks here. And I'm going to make the filling for this. So we take our tub of mascarpone here, the full 8 ounces, and we're going to put it in a food processor to get all this stuff nice and blended. All right, so I've got my 1 container of mascarpone, and I've got a half a cup of confectioner sugar. And then I've got a half a cup of Marsala wine. And then I've got 2 teaspoons of vanilla and a whole tablespoon of coffee liqueur. And what I'm gonna do with that is I'm gonna put this lid on there and pulse it like 10 to 12 times just to make sure all that's incorporated. All right. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our cream here and take it out of the bowl, and I want you to put it in a larger bowl. It's gonna facilitate our mixing that much easier. So we're gonna take this out. Make sure you get all of it out of there, around the blade. You don't wanna miss out. All right, so we got all that. And now, you're gonna take your 2 cups of whipped cream and pull it all in there. And now what I want you to do is fold this all together. So I want you to work from the bottom, come up through the top, and make sure that all your whipped cream and the mascarpone mix is completely incorporated. It should be very light at this point. Now we're gonna finish these tiramisus up by topping it off into each one of these dishes. You wanna top each lady finger up to where it goes all the way up to the top. And then, if you like, take a straight edge of your knife, just to make sure this is nice and even like this. You can smooth it right off and make a nice even coating. We'll wipe the edges. We're gonna put these in the refrigerator for at least 3 hours. If you can wait, you're gonna do it overnight. Me, I'm gonna go 3 hours and we're gonna finish these tiramisus up. All right, the last thing I gotta do with these is finish these guys off on the top. So if you notice, a couple of these, I had a little bit of that filling left over, so I piped a little on the top, dusted with a little bit of cocoa powder. That's one way to do it. Another way, you put a couple chocolate shavings over the top, maybe some chocolate chips. But also another way, instead of sprinkling like that, let's make a really dense top, completely covered with that cocoa powder, so you can't see any of the white over the top. It looks gorgeous. Simply like that, finished. A very nice clean look, goes on the plate just like this. These are delicious. Oh yeah.